What if Michael Jordan's approach to basketball is exactly what your Etsy store needs? Sounds a bit off court, right? But stick with me here. This is a man who wasn't just content with being a basketball genius. He turned himself into a global brand. But what does dunking basketballs have to do with my Etsy shop? Well, more than you might think, my friend. Diving deep into Michael's career, I've extracted powerful lessons that can be applied directly to selling on Etsy. So let's uncover 5 lessons from Michael Jordan that could revolutionize how you run your Etsy store today. When we think of Michael Jordan, we often picture the highlight reels, the buzzer beaters, the slam dunks, the 6 NBA championships. But behind those moments of glory was a mindset built on non-stop hard work and a solid belief in winning, no matter the odds. And it wasn't just talent that made him a legend, it was his mental game. Jordan once said, "I failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." This mentality of embracing failure as a stepping stone to success is something that I think every Etsy seller can learn from. Jordan didn't just play, he played to win championships. So for your Etsy shop, I want you to think about what winning looks like and dream big with your shop goals. It's all about setting goals that are high but still within reach. Think high but achievable goals. So take a step back and have a think. What are your goals? What is your championship? Maybe you want to get 10 sales by the end of the year. Maybe you want to have 100 listings uploaded by the end of July. Whatever your goals, make them clear and make them personal to you and your Etsy journey. And then write those goals down and pin them up somewhere so you can see them every day and keep a score of your progress. I actually personally do a little bit of a retrospective exercise on a monthly basis where I'll go back and I'll look at my goals for that previous month and see how far I've come in that month, which goals I've achieved, which goals potentially need a little bit more work. By doing this, every small win is a victory towards that ultimate NBA championship of myself. But even Michael Jordan, the greatest ever, wasn't immune to mistakes. The difference is that he made sure to learn from every single one of those failures. So in Etsy terms, not every product is going to be a hit right out the gate. And that's absolutely fine. What's important is that you're learning from every game or every product, every action you take. So instead of getting discouraged, treat each setback as an opportunity to learn something, just like Michael did. For example, if you've uploaded a listing and after several months you realize it's just not performing well, you need to deep dive into understanding why. Maybe it's the photos, maybe it's the SEO, or maybe your pricing structure is off. Don't get discouraged by those missed shots. Instead, use them as an opportunity, a chance to refine your strategy and come back even stronger. I personally typically do this on a quarterly basis, so every 3 months I will sit down and I will do a deep dive analysis of all of my listings. I'll try to understand which listings are doing really well and which listings aren't doing as well. And then I'll try to compare them both to understand what is it that these listings that are doing really well have different than those that maybe aren't performing as well. So that then we can have a look at making adjustments and improvements to those that maybe aren't performing as well. It's about making small incremental changes and learning from every single one of those setbacks. Another thing is that Jordan didn't just show up to the playoffs. He was there grafting and putting in work every single game. And that's the kind of focus and discipline that really separates the good from the great. So as Etsy sellers, we need to do the same. We need to stick to the game plan every single day. For you personally, this could mean setting aside some time for crafting, designing, marketing, customer service, and all the bits in between, rain or shine. It's really about consistency and baking Etsy into your daily or weekly routine. For example, when I first started, I made sure to dedicate at least 2 hours every single evening towards working on my Etsy store. I wanted to treat this like a business to help it succeed. Granted, perhaps you can't invest 2 hours a day into your Etsy business, and that's absolutely fine. Maybe it's an hour a week or half an hour every other day. Find what works best for you and bake it into your daily or weekly routine. And what you'll find is that having this part of your routine will actually pay off longer term, both for your own sanity and mental health, but also for the success of your Etsy shop. Okay, quick time out. If you feel like you're learning something so far, I would love it if you would click the little thumbs up below, and if you haven't already, I would love to have you subscribe to my channel. I post weekly videos about Etsy and would love to have you along for the ride. Now imagine stepping onto the basketball court for the very first time. You probably wouldn't start with complex plays or fancy dribbling tricks right off the bat, right? You'd focus on the basics, the passing, the shooting, maybe the simple defense. Michael Jordan, despite being an absolute legend, built his career on a rock-solid foundation of these basics, never overlooking their importance even at the height of his fame. Now, think of your Etsy shop in the same way. You need to focus on the fundamentals first. You stepping onto the basketball court for the very first time and then trying some fancy tricks is basically the equivalent of you trying to build an Etsy shop without having the basics in place first. So before you get into the nitty-gritty of your shop, take a step back and make sure that you have the fundamentals in place first. Take a look at your store branding, your shop policies, even your Etsy store settings. How about pricing? Have you actually priced your products in a way that you'll actually end up making a profit? This is an issue I see so many people making. They underprice their products and ultimately make no profit on what they're selling. And if you're doing print on demand, make sure that your settings on your print on demand account are set up to your advantage. These are all just basic things that can be often overlooked. Make sure to spend some time really getting those right before diving into the more complex stuff. Another thing is that Michael Jordan didn't become the GOAT that he is by just repeating the same drills over and over and over again and not paying attention to the evolving game around him. He watched tapes, learned from others, and constantly looked for new ways to improve and adapt to the improving game. As Etsy sellers, we can do something similar. We can adopt an always learning mindset. The marketplace and customer trends are always changing on Etsy, and staying ahead means continuously learning and adapting. So a top tip from me is to commit to learning something new about your craft or about the business side of Etsy every single week. This could be watching tutorials, reading articles, or simply engaging with other sellers on forums or Facebook groups. You want to make education a part of your routine. And guess what? I've been doing this for several years now, and I still now on a weekly basis try to learn something new about Etsy or the designs I'm creating. This way I'm making sure I get to stay up to date with Etsy changes, market trends, or any other adaptations that need to take place to help me to succeed in my niche. Listen, I'm not saying that being successful on Etsy means you now need to start taking up basketball, but as you can see, I think there's a lot we can learn from how Michael Jordan actually was able to succeed. If you're keen to learn more lessons and strategies from some of the greats out there, then check out this playlist, where we have lots of different lessons from different celebrities and entrepreneurs out there. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.